Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. In the morning class, we were talking about Nachiketa, his story. So how he happened to reach Yamaraja, the Lord of Death. And as I say, what was primarily responsible for that was his commitment to truth, his trust in truth, that when you are committed to truth, you can never go wrong. Nothing harmful can happen to you. I guess that is the trust there. And as we saw in this particular case, commitment to truth required Nachiketa to give up his life. Mrityavetva dadamiti, the father said that I am giving you to death. And father wanted to go back on his words, but Nachiketa insisted that no, you should not go back on your words. Your words should come true. And therefore, let me go to death. Thus, his willingness to sacrifice even his life to make his father's words come true. Even though his father said that out of anger, Mrityavetva dadamiti. Oh, Father, who are you going to give me? Asked twice, 3 times. Father got upset. Surely out of anger said that I give you to death, meaning that go and get lost. And Nachiketa took that literally. In fact, the text says that Nachiketa went into solitude and thought, why does Father want me to go to death? Am I being punished for something that I have done? I cannot recall anything that I have done. He is also the disciple of his father. I have been either the leading disciple or at least the middling disciple, never the inferior disciple who deserve this kind of punishment. Then why is father saying that to me? Maybe it's not punishment then. Surely father must have said that out of anger. So even when he came to a conclusion that his father said this out of anger, and when he went back to his father, he saw that father was regretting what he said. And father wanted to go back on his words, beta, don't worry, I just said it out of anger, you don't have to take it literally. But Nachiketa insisted upon taking it literally, that the father's words must come true. There must be, not that Upaniṣad discusses what he went through, he said this is what should happen. But that does show an inherent trust in the value of truth, that you can never get hurt or damaged by truth. Even though in this particular case that damage was very evident, that he had to give up his life, and that qualified him to go to the Lord of Death. As we said, we reached the palace of death. Apparently Lord Death was away for some mission. Returned after 3 days. And then they reported to him that this Brahmin boy has been here for 3 days hungry. Please do something to appease him. And Yamaraja says, for every night that you stayed hungry in my house, please ask for one boon. And that is how Nachiketa was given 3 boons by Lord Death. So all of this is consequence of his commitment to make true what it is that his father said. And when the 3 boons are offered, this is Vedic culture. How people growing in the Vedic culture were, what their values were. He said that in the first boon, "O Yamaraja, please grant that my father becomes free from all his anxieties and sense of guilt. He must be feeling very guilty, he would not be able to sleep at night on account of the way he treated me. So please give him peace of mind." Yamaraja says, your father will from now on sleep peacefully. In second boon, he asked for the ritual which will enable him or anybody else to go to heaven. In third boon, he says that there is this doubt remaining after a person departs from this body, whether something remains or not. Meaning that, is there an Atma or self other than body? When the body dies, does it mean everything dies? Or even when the body dies, there is something that does not die, something that is immortal. The body is mortal. Even when this mortal body dies, there is something that does not die. The Chandogya Upaniṣad says, Maghavan martyam va edam shariram mrityana attam. There the teacher, Prajapati, says to the disciple Indra, the king of gods, "Hey Maghavan, hey Indra, this body is mortal. Martyam va edam shariram." Even though the body is mortal, it is the asya amritaha atmana adhishthanam. But this mortal body is nevertheless the place of manifestation of immortal self. That is very important. And that is the privilege of all bodies, but particularly human bodies. All living creatures, of course, reflect the self that is immortal. But for creatures other than human beings, that fact has no use for them. But as far as human being is concerned, the fact that this mortal body is a seat of manifestation of the self, consciousness is immortal, is very important. And that is the glory of the human embodiment. That if we pay attention, if we have value, then this embodiment, the manifestation of consciousness in this embodiment, can become the basis of an investigation as to what is the nature of the consciousness. And the question is consciousness the nature of the body? Is it the attribute of the body? That the body perishes, therefore the consciousness also perishes? As the medical science would believe, that consciousness is the result of whatever it is, brain or heart or result of something. And when that brain or the heart stops functioning, then the consciousness is not there. Our Charvakas also used to believe that this body is the union of four elements. They did not accept the space, which is fifth element, because you can't see it. And when these four elements unite in a certain way, then there is life, and when they say disunite, there is no life. So the belief that the science has about the consciousness here is the belief carried on from the Vedic times also. But that time also the sages knew that consciousness is not the attribute of the body. Consciousness is something that manifests through the body. As Swami Vivekananda used to say, I am not the body having consciousness, I am the consciousness having a body. Big difference. And so Nachiketa asked of this, that this mortal body also is the seat of the manifestation of the immortal self. Please tell me about that. You are the Lord of death. You know both life and death. You know what happens after death. And please tell me whether body is Atma, that means Atma, the consciousness, comes to an end when the body perishes, or then the consciousness survives even when the body is dead or body perishes. Answer that Vedanta has is yes. Consciousness is separate from the body, independent of the body. Body is important in as much as body is the seat of manifestation of consciousness. But it is not that consciousness depends upon body for it to exist. Body depends upon consciousness for it to exist, not the other way around. And therefore the consciousness persists even when the body is not. Etad vidyam anusishtastvayaham. I want to know this as taught by you. Nachiketa is very clear. You please teach me. Because Yamaraja would avoid him. He says, there are many, go and learn from them. He says, no, I am here at the right place. And then Kaṭha describes how Yamaraja tried to persuade him to give up this demand of self-knowledge. Nachiketo maranam manu prakshi. Hey Nachiketa, do not ask me about death and life. You don't ask me about that. Svatayusha putra pautran vunishva bahun pashun hasta hiranya. I'll give you what you want. I'll give you sons and grandsons, all of them enjoying life, centurions' life, 100 years. Bhumir Mahadayatan Vrishva, enjoy, I will make you the emperor or sovereign of the entire earth. Tvam Jiva Sharado Yav, and then you also live as long as you want. In case there is not enough, if I miss something, ask for whatever you want. Thus, instead of the self-knowledge, Yamaraja offered him so many material, attractions, temptations. And Nachiketa was unmoved. Kaṭha describes more than what I described to you, that there are more, the pleasures on this world, pleasures in heaven, etc., etc. He says, suppose you give me all of them. Then also, these pleasures, how long will they last? Shvobhavaha martyasya dandakaitat. He Antaka, he Lord Death, all these pleasures that you offer us, Shobhavaha, it is uncertain whether they will be there tomorrow or not, meaning that they are all perishable. Doesn't matter, and Nachiketa, enjoy them. How long they last? I'll give you more and more. Sarvendriyanam jarayanti teja. You cannot enjoy these pleasures unless you also have to sacrifice the vitality of your sense organs, because that you enjoy this pleasure through your sense organs. And the long life that you're offering, api sarvam jivitam alpameva, however long life you offer to me, it is still limited. Tavaivaha tavanritya gite. Let all the vehicles and dancers and music, they all remain with you. Don't give me, I don't want to touch it. It's not that Nachiketa received and gave back. Don't give me. Leaving no choice for Yamaraja, Lord Death, to fulfill his promise of giving whatever Nachiketa asked of the third moon. Meaning that Nachiketa had to go through all these tests before he got. It's not like, we are so fortunate. They offered to us. In fact, they advertise him. And they urge us to come here. Please come to Gurukulam. We have a new facility, beautiful auditorium, lecture hall, whatever you call it, but come. That was not the case those days. You had to go, I don't know how, Nachiketa had to go to Yamaraja in the heaven. At least we had to go to forests where the teachers used to be. Now the teachers come to us. When we were studying in Sandipani Sadhana, Puja Swami told us once, in the olden days, the disciples would go and bring bhiksha for the Guru. Now Guru brings bhiksha for the disciples. Well, he would go around giving lectures and correcting his, Guru Dakshina to feed all these fellows, including ourselves. So that is why we don't have value for this. When it comes to, when something comes without great effort, without great longing, we don't have much value. In those days, the story in Chandogya Upaniṣad, which also you must have heard from me, as to how none other than Indra, the king of gods, not an ordinary entity, the king of gods, he went to the teacher Prajapati seeking knowledge of the self. He stayed with, in the ashrama of Prajapati for 32 years. Then Prajapati invites him. He says, "What for have you come?" After 32 years. "Sir, we have heard your words. The one who gains knowledge of the self, all his desires are fulfilled, he attains all the worlds, all his desires are fulfilled. Therefore, come here, seeking the knowledge of the self." Okay, and there are 32 more years. After that, like this, 32 years. Then he was given the teaching that Atma is one that you see in your eyes, not easy to understand. Second 32 years, Atma is one that is in the dream. Another 32 years, Atma, that is one in the deep sleep. Another 5 years, 101 years. So then there is value for this knowledge. I mean, I don't say that. We are very fortunate. I am one of you only. But this is what they had to sacrifice, contribute in order to qualify for this knowledge. The general rule was that this knowledge was not imparted to someone who is not qualified for it. Anyway, so this is how Nachiketa qualified himself for receiving the Upadesha from Lord Death, from Yamaraja. And Yamaraja begins this Upadesha in a very interesting way. Doesn't start with the self-knowledge right away. But he creates a background because this knowledge requires what we call vairagya or dispassion. Even though Nachiketa displayed the dispassion, and still Yamaraja says, "Hey Nachiketa, there are these two choices in our life. Anjashreya, Anjandutaiva. Shreyas is one thing, preyas is another thing. What is preyas? What is pleasant to the senses? Because our senses have a natural affinity for sense objects, sense pleasures, and the mind usually runs after the sense pleasures. Yamaraja says that look, that kind of happiness is called, or pleasure is called preha, something that is dear to the sense organs, but which is binding. There's another form of happiness called shreya, which requires a lot of effort in the beginning. Lord Krishna says, Yattagre vishamiva pariname amritopamam tat sukham satvikam proktum atmabuddhi prasadayam. That happiness which in the beginning is bitter, but ultimately turns out to be sweet. Yes, was sattvic sukha. There is happiness coming from the self. As I said this morning, in order for us to experience happiness coming from the self, is necessary to turn the mind inward. Mind which is naturally extrovert, running out to the sense pleasures, has to be turned inward like taking the river to its source. Yat tadagre vishamiva pariname amritopamam. But then it is lasting happiness. So there is lasting happiness, possibility of lasting happiness in our life, or the fleeting happiness. Happiness that we normally gain in our life from the objects of pleasure, from name, fame, power, wealth, even heaven. All of these falls in the class of fleeting happiness, binding happiness. One of my friends was saying that Swamiji, when he was studying in a college, his father in fact, said 10 o'clock, everybody would automatically be attracted, automatically we swerve to one tea shop. Because that fellow used to add some stuff in the tea. Because of which these boys or girls, they were addicted to that. So how one is led because of addiction, so also where is the happiness coming from? The world is addictive, binding, and makes you dependent, ultimately makes you a slave, they say, if you don't pay attention. There's one kind of happiness. It's called preya. Shreyascha, preyascha, manushyamedaha. Upanishad says that at every moment, both of these choices come before us. Priyaha, this fleeting happiness, the fleeting binding happiness of the sense objects, sense pleasures comes before us. And Shreyaha, the lasting happiness of the self, that also comes. Thus, every moment we have to make a choice. This is the privilege of human being, that we as human beings are privileged to make choices. When there is choice, there is also responsibility. That I am responsible for whatever choices I make. Thus, Ishvara has given us a freedom of choice as well as responsibility to make the right choice. If we get attracted to this fleeting happiness, which is what most human beings do, unfortunately, that those animals being attracted to the mirage water looks like real water, and therefore animals are naturally attracted to that. And so also the human mind that appears happiness in various places in the world, in the wealth, name, fame, pleasure, sense organs, sense objects, attracted towards them, not realizing that it is more an appearance rather than a reality. So that's one kind of happiness which is called prayer. And we can see how the whole world is after this. In fact, the political leaders also consider it their success when they are able to provide this kind of happiness called prosperity to their populations, including India, of course. Not that we should not have that, but human being does not recognize that this is a binding thing. It makes a slave out of me. So that prayer, that happiness of the sense objects also comes to me every moment. And share the happiness of self also. How does self-happiness come, Swami? Because usually in every situation, I have a choice whether to be honest or not. Well, that's no big deal. Well, whether to tell the truth as it is or to tell in a clever, smart way, whether it's honest or not, whether to follow non-violence or not. This truthfulness, non-violence are basic values, and we are tested at every situation. If you pay attention, then you will find what choices we are making. And whenever we are controlled by our likes and dislikes, raga dveshas, then we automatically or habitually make the wrong choice. Any choice made out of raga dveshas, means attachment aversions, is going to be a wrong choice. So this is a setup. We are in the setup. Punah punarvashamapadyate me. Yamaraj also says that he has created this kind of a net in which these animals get caught again and again. So that is what Yamaraja says, that the Shreya and Priya, both of them present themselves in every situation, present themselves before me. And I am required to make a choice. And we make a choice also. We may not realize because it's quite likely that our habit just controls our choice and we habitually make choices. And so this is, again, Upanishad says that there is like this, what do you call it, a fork at every situation. And you make a choice. So this is how the Kaṭha Upaniṣad describes our life. And therefore establishes the importance of self-knowledge. That self or the Atma is only eternal entity. It invites us to look at our own self. Ask yourself what it is that you are seeking in your life. That I am seeking something in life is very clear because my mind comes up with one desire after the other. And every desire is a means of fulfilling some, need on my part. So basically I am a needy person seeking something. And we keep on fulfilling the desires as they arise without even bothering to ask ourselves. If you're fortunate, then someday this question may arise. What am I doing? I have been fulfilling the desires one after the other, countless desires are fulfilled. But the desirer has remained intact. Desires come, get fulfilled, or not fulfilled and go. But then in spite of fulfilling countless desires, the desirer has remained. And desirer means someone who is inadequate, incomplete, lacking, wanting. Because the desire is always a result of a lack or want within myself. But the person does not think, a human being doesn't think about his life. Desires arise, you fulfill them. They arise, you fulfill them. They arise, you fulfill them. Even as very, very convenient to me because I don't go and grab them. They come into my own trap. Punah punar vashamapadyate me na samparaya pratibhati balam pramadyantam vittamohena mudam. Says Yamaraja that it never strikes to a human being that there can be something other than what I see around me. Ayam lokaha nasti para iti mani. What I am enjoying right now or what I perceive, that's all that the life has to offer. I've been given these organs of perception and all these objects of enjoyment, and that's all that life has to offer. Na samparaya pratibhati balam. This immature person, it never occurs to that person that there can be something more than this. Because what I'm chasing is something that always leaves me a chaser, a desirer. There's no lasting satisfaction in my life. When a desire is fulfilled, then I do find some temporary satisfaction, no doubt. But then again, another desire replaces my mind, in my mind. And thus I find myself chasing one desire after the other. Nobody thinks, na samparaya pratibhati balam pramadyantam vittamohena mudam. Yamaraja says that the temptation of the wealth and vittamohena, wealth stands for all other material things. It's like an intoxication and person doesn't see beyond that. Yamaraja is describing, he's not describing us, but he's describing these people. What do you call? People are non-discriminating. Avidyaya, mantare vartamanaha, those people who are in the realm of ignorance. Vayam dhiraha panditam manyamanaha, and they think that we are wise and we are learned. Even though making wrong choices all the time, they think that we are wise and we are learned. So material, as far as the worldly affairs are concerned, they are very smart, very clever. As far as their spiritual life is concerned, they are blind. All of this is told. Why is Nachiketa being told? He has already made the right choice. Why should he need to be told all this? Lord Yama wants to compliment Nachiketa, praise Nachiketa. That Nachiketa, you have proved yourself. Duramete viparite vishuchi vidyaya cha vidyeti jnata. Yamaraj says there are two paths in the life. One is path of ignorance, one of path of knowledge. Both of them lead to a totally opposite end. One leads to the bondage, one leads to liberation. Meaning one leads to unhappiness, other leads to happiness. I am saying all of this because when we feel unhappy or sad, we should look into that. Why am I feeling sad? Why am I unhappy? Oh, Swami, this is what this person did to me. That's what they say. This is what my boss said. This is what my partner, etc., spouse said. We always have accepted that my unhappiness is due to somebody else or something else. But that's not so. Yes, there is somebody else. There is something else. But what they do is just the trigger, push the button. If there is no wiring behind the button, they can push button as long as they want. So world pushes buttons. And world includes everything other than myself. Looks like it is their job to push button. Like controlling a toy from remote control. So this is the general experience. That's why Yamaraja describes that to praise Nachiketa as to how wise you have been. Look, the so-called learned and intelligent people also, they do not understand the basic realities of life. How they keep on making wrong choices and they're suffering in the life. There's no reason why human beings should suffer. Make the right choices and there is no, you'll be happy. Because in every situation we have a choice, whether to choose happiness or unhappiness. I always choose happiness. I think what I'm choosing is happiness. But examine whether it is or it is not. Shreyaha or Priyaha. Temptations, when I submit myself to temptation, I make wrong choices. When I do not get controlled by the temptations, I use viveka or discrimination in every situation. Tayo shreya adadanasya sadhu bhavati hiyeta arthat. So one who chooses shreya, sadhu bhavati, his life becomes successful, fulfilled, happy. Hiyeta arthat eupriyo pranite. One who makes choices attempted by temptations, he certainly falls from his goal, from his happiness. Very beautiful Upaniṣad, Kaṭha Upaniṣad. And this kind of analysis of life is done very elaborately in this Upaniṣad. Even Nachiketa does not need this Upadesha. But the Upanishad tells what kind of process of thinking process went on in the mind of Nachiketa. And therefore, what kind of thinking process we should adopt. With all this background, then only Yamaraja starts teaching Nachiketa. And traditionally, even before you impart Brahma Vidya. Traditionally, you have to make sure that the Shrota, the listener, is ready for that, and therefore a means of readiness also is given. That's called the Upasana, meditation on Omkara. And then Yamaraja begins his Upadesha. Na jayate mriyate va vipaschit. Some of the verses come in Bhagavad Gita, verses also have the origin in the Upanishad. Second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita we find, and Bhagavad Gita's chariot also comes from here. Or we can see that similarity. Na jayate mriyate va vipaschit. Vipaschit, or the consciousness, the Atma, is not born, does not die. In spite of birth and death constantly taking place, here Upanishad says that there is something that is not born and that does not die. For something not to die, it should not be born also, of course. Whatever is born will die. Jatasya hi dhruva mrityu. Death is certain for the one that is born. When all the birth and death are constantly taking place in his body, every moment, I don't know, millions of cells are born, dying, and whatever is constantly going on. Thoughts come and go. I mean, it's just all crazy here. In all of that, there is something that is absolutely steady, unmoved. And our attention is drawn to that. That is called consciousness, that's called Atma, that's called the Self. Na jayate mriyate va vipaschit. Vipaschit, consciousness, is neither born nor it dies, is not created, it does not, is not an effect of something, not cause of something, etc. Ajo nitya shashvatoyam purana nanyate hanyamane sharire. So death is the background of the teaching of Kaṭha, and death also is the sort of base background of teaching of Bhagavad Gita. In this case, death has taken place of Nachiketa. In case of Arjuna, death has not taken place, but that is the background in which Arjuna is also taught how when death takes place also there is something that does not die. So, thus the teaching continues and comes to then finally to a point which the verse that we have selected, Uttishtata jagrata prapyavaran nibodhata. Uttishtata, arise. Jagrata, awake. Prapyavaran nibodhata. Nibodhata, may you gain the knowledge. Varan prapya, may you go to the varan, the reverential people. Go to the teachers, nibodhata, gain knowledge from them. So this is an important message that this Upanishad gives to all of us. We'll discuss in greater detail what is meant by Uttishtata, arise. Jagrata, awake. This order also seems to be a little bit reversed, is it not so? If somebody is sleeping, then first you wake him up and then he arises, isn't it? Then he stands up. He says, arise and awake. Uttishtata, jagrata, arise, awake. So this is an important passage from the Kaṭha that we have selected for discussion. I will discuss in greater detail what is meant by arise, what is meant by awake. But important thing is prapyavaran nibodhata. May you go to the wise. and learn from them, gain knowledge from them. Meaning that it's always emphasized that the knowledge has to come from a teacher. Sometimes people feel that this looks like a gurudom. To perpetuate the institution of the guru, they always say that you must always go to guru to gain the knowledge. But it is like the 10th man, if you remember the 10th man story. The 10th man is searching for the 10th man. His search would never end. And therefore, he has to be told that you are what you are searching for. This is one instance where we have to be told. It is not something, it is not that they are insisting that we have to go to teachers. But this is a particular kind of knowledge. For other knowledge, perhaps you may be able to, all knowledge of the objective sciences, it is likely that you can, work and discover it yourself. But here the very process of discovering is the denial of what you want to discover. The very process of searching for the 10th man happens after denial of the 10th man, isn't it? And therefore you have to go to somebody who knows who the 10th man is. And the teaching is very simple. You are the 10th man, you are what you are searching for. Tattvamasi, that thou art. That which you are searching for is you yourself. It's difficult to believe that I am, but Swamiji, I want to be free. I want to be perfect. I want to become free from all limitation. I want to be limitless. You say I am limitless? I find myself limited in every way. Limited by time, limited by place. I'm in one place, not in another place, during one period of time, not before, not after. And even when I am there, I am a limited entity. Just a human being. I cannot run like a horse, cannot swim like a fish, cannot fly like a bird. I'm so limited. And still you are saying that I am limitless? So whereas my conclusion about myself is that I am limited in every way, and I am suffering from that. Finding myself limited, if it did not do anything to me, it doesn't matter. But unfortunately, finding myself limited is the source of all my sorrow. My conclusion that I am a limited being, I am a lacking, wanting being, is the source of all my sorrow. Swami, you don't know. You come to our office and you'll find out where is the source of sorrow. You come to my home, you'll find out where is the source of sorrow. We think that the source of sorrow lies elsewhere. But as I say, all they do is to push buttons. And the wiring must be there behind the buttons, and we have it in plenty. Otherwise, remove that wiring. The world can at the most push the buttons. But we also contribute, we also cooperate with the world in order, then only we can become unhappy. We cannot become sorrowful unless we cooperate. So that is what the Upanishad wants to teach us. How we can stop cooperating. How we can stop landing ourselves into all these binding nets. How we can discover freedom in our life, which is there for everybody. It is not privilege of somebody or the other. Everybody has that possibility. And therefore, this passage, Uttishtata, Jagrata, Prapyavaranya, we already started discussing that anyway. So we'll continue tomorrow morning and what it means to ourselves and how that can become a guiding sutra for us to help lead our life in the right direction, to make right choices. Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.